Aloha and welcome to Monday MoonDaze here on New Paradigm Healing Academy Facebook group. My name is Michelle Jericho Poplar, also known as Queen Mabsy of Queen Mabsy LLC, here on New Paradigm Healing Academy Facebook group, coming to you live from Eva Beach, Oahu. We survived quite a lovely Neptunian, Saturn, Venus partying in the early degrees of Aries storm. Lots of activity, and now it is just overcast and humid and thick. We are at the end of the Zodiacal New Year. What does that mean? That means we are approaching the spring equinox. The equinox is when there is equal day and equal night. So 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night, which is in the northern hemisphere spring, and in the southern hemisphere that's their fall. So for us here in the northern hemisphere of planet Earth, we are encountering the spring anew, which also happens to be March 20th, which is also, hi mom, is also my birthday. Yay, me. Yeah, so I happen to be born March 20th night, and that, depending on the rotation of the sun, is either still in Pisces or in Aries, because it's what we call the cusp of a sign. So it's when we go from one energy signature of, you know, the star, the sun being in one constellation going into the next. And so I was born when it was at the very end of Pisces and right before it went into Aries. So this year the end of Pisces actually falls on the 19th, and then it moves into Aries. So my solar return, as far as like when the sun is at the same place that it was when I was born, is technically not on the calendar day, which is the 20th. So it's interesting if you ever feel like your birthday doesn't feel like your birthday. It could be because that year it might be a little day ahead or a day before. So that's a little tidbit of information. So we are now on the 16th, and guess what's happening this week? Also on the 20th, Mercury finally goes direct. Yay! So the Mercury retrograde will be over. We'll still be in some electronic fluctuations, as Mercury is still in its what they call shadow period, where it still could be causing some disruptions, but everything is happening for us, not to us. It's just a reminder to slow down, dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure your phone's actually plugged all the way in. As I found out with my electric car, not plugged all the way in, didn't charge. I'm like, oh, that's such a Mercury retrograde issue. So it's okay, you know, you just work with it and go flow with the go, and don't allow the little snafus and miscommunications that have been occurring rule over your nervous system. Allow yourself to feel the feelings, and everything will move. Take a moment, breathe through it, and then a solution will find its way through. The other thing that we have happening this week that is of interest, a 3-eye atlas, the cool visitor to our solar system that has been really cool to watch and see how it goes through, has been going through the ecliptic. So it was discovered last summer, and its first flyby. It's not a comet that's of this solar system. It's from outside the Milky Way galaxy, some other solar system. So something happened out there, and this thing has just been flying through space, and now it's going through our neighborhood. what it did was intriguing people and causing all this like to do on the internet was because the way it was going through the ecliptic, as far as like the way the planets are orbiting, it would, sorry, I forgot to do at everyone so that they can get on this live. I'm a little late today because I still have my broken leg, so things are a little bit slow. That is such a Mercury, yes. So on the 19th this year, yes, Mom, it is a little bit early. So I'm going to add everyone. No, not. Okay. Yay. I'm going to comment that and then think. Okay. Mercury retrograde. We're not going to try to bring everyone on because this is just not working. What I do need, if anyone's in the comments below, if you type in at around everyone, it will go to everyone. So, but you know, we'll see. So a lot of me has been questioning as I've been building this astrology business over the last few years, and it's been slow to grow. Building a business, as many of you know, especially when it comes to the healing arts, healing practices, it's like, well, what do you do? What? I don't know. You move energy? What do you do? What does that even do? And astrology, like, yeah, that's kind of nice. That sounds like something they want, but then, like, it's a big investment because, you know, astrology readings, generally, I charge $111. I do a 90-minute session. We go deep, okay? We're not just going on surface level things. We're going deep. We're getting the paradigm, the old root paradigms through your birth chart. We're going, look at this. Boop. So a lot of my healing work happens as well through the astrology readings. So anyway, if you need one, I'll post the link below later. queenmabsy.com. Anywho, building a business takes time. That's Saturn. Saturn is the teacher. He brings discipline, as in he takes on the disciples to teach. He is presently still hanging out with Neptune and Venus. Venus is what we love, being in right relationship because she rules Libra, and Neptune, what we dream. And hi, welcome to Hawaii. Letting that carry all my troubles away. So they're hanging out in the early degrees of Aries. So wherever Aries be in your chart, you're being activated in your small self, coming into most aligned actions. So Aries is about the body, about taking action and being, and in modern times it's more aligned with entrepreneurship and taking right action. In olden days it was associated ruled by Mars, and in newer times co-ruled by the planet Pluto. Aries was associated with the warrior, the hero, but in modern times, because that's not as common, it's a trailblazer. It's a person who starts things. Because when we're talking about New Year with the zodiac, Pisces is the end, Aries is the beginning, and we just had Neptune and Saturn activate. Will be almost a month now. At the end of the week, we've had that energy when Neptune and Saturn activated the world point, which is the beginning of the zodiac, 0 degrees Aries, which on March 20th we will be again at the Zodiacal New Year, which is when the zodiac flips over to Aries, and we're at a new cycle. So what was that? That was a seed point. 0 degrees is a container. It's God's like saying this. Pay attention to this. Pay attention. Let's plant something new. And what does Neptune represent? Divinity, spirit. Saturn also represents form, structure, time. So at the world point, 0 degrees, at the beginning, it's like, let's seed that point before we hit the new cycle in a month. So we've had a month of this energy to work with, this divinity informed. How do we take what God, Source, Universe, Creator, however, choose your definition, and embody that, and really be embodied in that, where it's effortless, where God, Source, Universe, Creator, however you want to choose to call the energy, all that is in most divine alignment, removing any misalignments through being a clear conduit, by being fully embodied, by honoring this vessel that we are experiencing in third density, and taking care of it and making sure that we honor what we've been gifted, this opportunity to be in Earth School and learn and listen. It's really as simple, and that's why the practice is useful, because it takes us out of our mind. Mercury retrograde in Pisces, which is presently still pulling at our subconscious with Mars in Pisces. Mars in Pisces is a little like, whoa, because Mars is an Aries energy, because he rules Aries. So once he gets into Pisces, he's a little confused, like a little like dreamy, and paired with his buddy Mercury, who's also confused. It's like they got a little bit too stoned. They're like, whoa, man, we're in Pisces. What's happening? Wow. And Mercury retrograde is just like, oh, I forgot something. Let me go back a few degrees and get that idea that I had before. So things can be, as with our ego, or small self, can get a little bit confused, especially with the sun in Pisces and Mercury in Pisces. Our heart, or our soul, the sun, can get confused by our thoughts, Mercury retrograde, and our actions, Mars, all muddled up in Pisces. So that's why I was really encouraging folks to do a lot of active and reflective listening throughout the previous week, and continue it on this week and into the next, because even though Mercury goes direct, it's still going to be Pisces, and it's still going to be working with that energy. And we will be moving into the Aries energy. Well, things will have more clarity, and they will speed up quite a bit, because that's a fire sign. Know that that's just going to be all those parade planets that have been in Pisces are going to join the big ones that are already in Aries, which is Neptune, Saturn, and Venus. So the party, it's like, think about like Neptune, Saturn, and Venus like setting up a party in Aries. And they're like, come on over, you guys. We're going to have a fire pit party. And then, because, it's fire. And then Mercury and Mars and the sun, they're all going to come join this party. So we're going to have 8 planets hanging out in Aries, activating ourself, because that's what Aries represents. What is selfhood? Being self. Now, over the last couple years, there's been heavy activations in the sign of Libra. So we have already been working on that right relationship stuff. So now all of the things that we learned in the last 2 years, when it comes to about being in right relationship, and the answer was be in right relationship with ourselves in order to be in right relationship with everyone else, which is, you know, love thy neighbor as thyself. The thyself part we forget quite a bit. So if there's reflections in the external world that we do not prefer, most of the time the answer to the solution of that is looking within first. Because sometimes, you know, most people on this group are here because we're heavily empathic, where we feel things, and as we're discovering more and more, the feelings don't always originate from our experience. Could be coming from somewhere else, the collective. And with big planets like Saturn and Neptune together, the collective is more aware that it is having a shared experience. And that can actually be a really beautiful thing, because it brings us together more than it tears us apart. So let's just go into the week by week, the day by day for Moon Day. We'll still a little Mercury's and Gatorade backwards with my brain. It's a broken leg. So so what was I mentioned this last week, but what was interesting, because Saturn rules bones, and the lunar eclipse happened to be right on my natal Saturn in Virgo, and it's in my 11th house, which rules community, and I've had to kind of put my little ego aside and be like, help, I need help. So I'm super grateful. My friend came to help me out like this weekend, and it's been amazing. And people have shown up for me in ways that I did not anticipate or expect. And I've been ever so grateful for people who've sent donations and who's like booked readings with me. That's a huge help, as like I can't do things with my leg. So what it has done for me has been like, hey, sit down and do your astrology. And if I was questioning, to circle back to the beginning, I was questioning, should I even be doing this astrology business? It's been hard to build. Then I was like, oh yeah, World Astrology Day happens to be March 20th. Wow. Why question? If all the days that they chose, because it's the Zodiacal New Year, they chose my birthday as World Astrology Day. Okay. All right, God, I get it. This is what you want me to do. So here I am, persevering silliness. So, oh my gosh, they're having server maintenance. My normal go-to for astrology charts is having server maintenance. That's so Mercury retrograde. There we go. All right, so as of today and tomorrow, we're going into St. Patty's Day on the 17th. The moon will be in Pisces, moving from Aquarius into Pisces, and we will be feeling, Venus is already at 13 degrees, and Jupiter has been stationed direct as of last week. Jupiter should be moving forward those things that have been stuck or stagnant when it came to home, because Cancer rules your home, might be flowing that energy. Anything that has to do with your maternal line, your mom, that is also moving that energy, and depends on what house Jupiter lies in your birth chart. But in whatever sector of your birth chart Jupiter is, you're going to have some expansion occur. So say you have it in your 10th house, you're going to have a career expansion. If you have it in your 2nd house, hopefully you'll get some money. So you can book a reading with me and I will tell you where Jupiter is programmed to expand something for you. So the moon will move into Pisces. So we're going to feel a little moody. We're going to be really feeling our thoughts and our actions over Monday and Tuesday. Ooh, this is a cool website I found. All right, so yay, it's making me find new things. So with the planets moving into, oh, here we go. So from the moon moving into I'm glitching. So to be honest, my leg hurts quite a bit. I might need to sitting in this position is probably not the best thing. So knowing my limits, but moving from Pisces moon through Monday, Tuesday, then we go from Pisces to Aries moon. You're really going to be feeling the intensity this week as like the moon is going to precede the sun. Before the sun goes into Aries on the 20th, the moon's going to get there first, and the moon is going to join Neptune and Saturn and Venus. So we're really going to be feeling what right actions to be taking in our informed. The moon, our feelings, are going to be prepared for when the sun, the soul, goes into Aries to join these bodies. So what is the answer for everything always is to feel the feelings first, which is why I call this thing MoonDaze, because we're talking about the moon. The moon goes into Aries and then it goes into Taurus over the weekend, and that will feel that will ease up as the sun moves into Aries. But paradigm shifting times we are in this month, the month of March, we're in it. We are in it. Things are shifting. Be joyous and happy about it, because things could not stay the way that they were, because they weren't in alignment. It has taken some big shaking ups, which is the Uranus in Taurus transit, to shake up what we thought was once fixed and show us. And Pluto is in Aquarius now, and the people are rising up, and the illusions and delusions, the veil has been lifted, the man behind the curtain has been shown, so to speak. So now that nobody is confused about what's been happening behind the scenes, everybody knows things are corrupt, and they can all at least agree on that. And where do the people go from here? There's a lot of unknowns because the North Node is in Pisces and just had that lunar eclipse. And we're all collectively facing that shadow of unconscious, false evidence appearing real. That of those echoes of those old times where things didn't quite work out. Hi, Anne. I see you. So if anyone has any questions about, the current energies, please feel free to put them in the chat. But this week is important for us to really hold together presence, divinity informed, knowing that, think of this more of your new year than New Year's Eve or even Lunar New Year. Like, this is the end of the old way of being, truly, as in we are no longer allowing fear or false evidence appearing real to dictate our lives. That is not the new paradigm way. The way for us to move forward as a species is to, yes, you can plan, but plan to change your plans. And when we do encounter things we don't prefer, as in things that are scary or spooky or creepy, they can instead just get curious about it and say, okay, interesting, and get out of the situation. Say, no, I prefer not to be around that misalignment. Close the gap to recognizing the recognition of things that are misaligned, instead of forcing, if it's not 100% yes, it's a no. That's more for me too. Like, if there's any sliver of a doubt, it's a no. Or no, but let me think about it, maybe. But first, no. Because right now, you will feel in your body if it's a yes with your whole, and go really tap in to yourself and ask yourself, what does yes feel like? And wait for a sensation, because you will know what that sensation is. And keep asking yourself to show you what that sensation is. And that sensation will appear in your body one way or another. And you listen to that. That, as long as you're coming from a space of being centered in your heart, and you tap in to God, Source, Creator, breathe in, you'll get your answer. Because God, Source, Creator is not going to let you down. And that's the best advice I can give you in these times. Like, I can tell you the astrology is crazy, because it is. But define crazy. That's what everybody says. That's crazy. It's just, there's just a lot happening. And when there's a lot happening, a lot of planets in one sign, and outer planets that are at the end of one sign and going into another, historically speaking, shift happens. As in, humans shift, the consciousness shifts, things change. And change rapidly they will. For the good, as long as we hold the vibration high, as in keep yourself connected to Source, and allow that divinity and form to move through you and be an agent of change, because nothing can stay the same. It took some disruptors to show up, beautiful, to shift things so that we can dissolve. Neptune dissolves what no longer belongs. And that's the old Pisces win, lose model. Like the victim mentality, the oh poor me, why did this happen? That's no longer a program that is going to get anywhere. The program that gets everywhere is moving in to the Aries. Okay, oxygen mask on yourself, and then you fill up your cup, and then once you're overflowing with energy, then you may be of full assistance. And that's not being selfish. It's more selfish to overextend yourself because you're not showing up as the full divinity informed. Venus in Aries says value ourself, value your body, and then you're divinity informed. Mars in Pisces is like, okay, let's dissolve that old poor me ego and dissolve. Mercury retrograde is like, okay, let's let go of all those old thought patterns that no longer serve, those old group paradigms, belief systems. Just let all that go down, get flushed out with the tides of the Pisces energies. Just flush it away. And what we're going to find over the next 2 months is a shift in the collective consciousness as the energies move into Aries. People will be, if they're in full alignment, there will be more self-care. And once they've taken care of themselves, and not in a selfish ego type of way, but in a like realistic way, like, you know, realistic, like I don't have capacity for that, but I have capacity for that later. Then in April, that will be at the end of Aries season, when we'll be preparing for Uranus to move into Gemini. Hopefully over Aries season, as the end of Pisces, will dissolve that old victim poor me mentality and come in more of a yay, how all of that happened for me, how much I have learned. Saturn in Aries saying, oh yes, we've learned so much about our consciousness and being in right relationship, because with all the planets in Aries, we're going to be tested on all our Libra lessons, because Libra is all about relationships, and it's opposite of Aries. So if you've been doing the practice, where do I get this thought from? Who does it belong to? And how is it for me? You don't need to have the answers to those questions, but those just the practice that helps get out of the thoughts and into the feeling. Once you find the feeling, you follow it, find it in your body, and let it move. It's gonna want to go up or it's gonna want to go down, and just let it move and give it to creator, or you give it to fertilizer. It's like it's gonna go either one or two ways, because that's the way the energetic field is presently built and functions best. Anyway, happy week. Oh, Manu Oku. I would have turned up the phone to see it. That is a beautiful. The Manu Oku is the bird of the city and county of Honolulu. It's a beautiful white seabird. And they have like the daintiest little wings, and they flutter. It's like, they're so beautiful. Anyway, I love seeing them. It's just above. So with that, I just wanted to say happy Zodiacal New Year. I might come on the 20th, just for funsies, to to just say hi and maybe give you a little energy update. Then too, let the plane carry old paradigms away, preparing for micro movements. This is a practice. We're building the new foundation of what we prefer to see, slowly and methodically, and then boom, it's gonna happen. So mahalo for being here, and if you have any questions, do reach out. You can direct message me, or you can contact me on my website. Anyway, mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Bye, next MoonDaze. See you then.